Good evening and welcome to One on One. I'm Bonnie Paez, your host. Have you ever wondered what sets the mood during the Christmas season? Well, it's music, isn't it? And tonight, music is our topic. Particularly, we'll talk about orchestra music. And there is no better person to tell us what orchestra music is all about other than the chairman of the Salvador and Pilar Sala Foundation and the moving spirit behind the Cebu Youth Symphony Orchestra, Miss Ingrid Sala Santamaria. When we come back, Ingrid will tell us about her passions, her visions, and how we can all help create the soul of Cebu City. Please stay with us on One on One. Welcome back. With me for the full hour is Miss Ingrid Sala Santamaria, and we're going to talk about the orchestra, the soul of Cebu. Ingrid, thank you so much for joining us.
Bunny, thank you for inviting me here. It's my pleasure.
My pleasure too. Tell us, what is an orchestra?
An orchestra is an aggregation of different instruments in different combinations playing together. Actually, it started in the 17th century in court bands. Gradually, instruments were improved and more were added, and by about 1830, the orchestra was complete as we know it today.
What is the purpose of an orchestra?
Basically, it was for royal entertainment, but gradually it filtered down to a bigger audience, and today we are lucky that a lot of people can enjoy orchestral music.
How large is an orchestra? How many people are involved in an orchestra?
About 60 to 100 musicians.
Is that standard all over the world?
More or less, depending on the kind of music to be played. If the repertoire requires a big orchestra, huge sound, then the bigger number is used. For smaller groups, Baroque music, classical orchestras, the smaller number suffices.
Is it divided into different sections or instrument divisions?
Yes, it's divided basically into 4 sections, and of course each section is divided into different instruments.
Great. Can you show us an illustration of an orchestra?
Sure, Bunny. I have here strings, and the string section is made up of the violin, viola, cello, double bass. The next section would be the woodwind section, and we have the flute, the oboe, clarinet, and bassoon. Then we have the brass section. We have trumpet, trombone, French horn, and tuba. Then we have the percussion section, which is composed of many instruments, among them different kinds of drums, bass drum, timpani, side drum. We have xylophone, glockenspiel. Not illustrated here is a marimba, which is similar to this too. And we have others that are triangle, cymbals, and tambourines. And besides these, we have, for instance, wooden blocks, castanets, and anything that you hit together to produce a sound. Those are the basic instruments.
Which section has the most number of instruments?
By actual count, I think it would be the percussion.
How many are there? Would you know exactly?
Oh, there can be as many as 20 kinds of percussion instruments. What I did not mention here, and could be a very important part, not of the orchestra itself, but of playing with the orchestra, is the piano and the harp. The harp would be a stringed instrument, and the piano is a combination of percussion and string.
Very informative. Is the arrangement of the orchestra universal in the sense that if I go to London to listen to the London Philharmonic Orchestra, or I go to New York, or I come to the Philippines, is the arrangement the same all over the world?
More or less, the last 150 years, the arrangement has been like this. There is a conductor that stands in the middle, and to his left there is a big section of first violins. Beside them are second violins, and somewhere here would be the violas. To the right would be cellos, and at the back would be the basses. Over here, the woodwind section, behind them brass, and still further behind the percussion. More or less, that's a traditional arrangement.